You just don't know when to quit.
Yeah, I've been told that before.
Wow. Are you guys seeing this?
I need a weapon.
Hello there.
He with you?
I thought you were with you.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Slav's Free Talk Podcast. I am your host, Slav, and tonight we got a few things to talk about. We had a pretty massive box office this past week. We're going to talk about Supergirl because, if you ask me, it seems like some things are slowly ramping up, and we'll get into that. James Gunn responded to a friend of ours. we'll definitely look at that and talk about that. And then I want to discuss what summer of 2027 looks like in regards to July. There's some ridiculous, thoughts being thrown out there, and I want to discuss exactly what it means of what's going on out there. But before we get into all that, there is something important I do need to discuss, and I'm sure you saw all of that online today. What's going on, everybody? I'm Slav. Glad you're here. Now, there's a good possibility that you saw a video, maybe not, from another YouTuber who decided to accuse me of doing some nefarious things with my YouTube channel. Because yes, I don't know how many of you out there know, but there are websites, there are things that you can do with YouTube to falsely get ahead in YouTube. And you can go to websites, you can buy subscribers, you can buy views, you can buy likes, you can buy comments, you can do all those types of things. The problem is when you do that, it destroys your channel. I know this. I know I've talked to many people in the past who have attempted to do it. I've seen people who've tried to do it. Look, when you start out doing YouTube, one of the things that you do is you start to educate yourself on what's the best habits, what should you do, how do you do this, how do you do that. And over the last 4 or 5 years, I've been doing a lot of research and trying to figure out what's the best habits to do YouTube. And let's not forget, I had a channel before, Bridging the Geekdoms, that I did a lot of stuff with. And when I stopped doing that, I jumped over to Slav's Free Talk, and a lot of what I learned over there I brought to here, and I've been learning a lot more along the way. But this channel decided to accuse me of buying subscriptions, buying views, and all of that kind of stuff. Now, a few weeks ago, he did accuse me of that. And on that specific video that he accused me on that, I did respond to him in a comment. And I explained to him that, I have been working my ass off, posting videos on a regular basis, posting shorts daily. I mean, I have sometimes on a daily basis, I can sometimes have 4 to 5 shorts just pop up on YouTube, sometimes more. But I've been working, I'm sure you guys all see it. I've been changing my thumbnails, trying to get the thumbnails to be more eye-catching, eye-popping, and things like that to really hit the YouTube algorithm. So over the last couple months, there has been some decent sized growth going on with my channel. But I'm not going to sit there and say that it's all been because of that. It has not been. Because this past month, I decided that, hey, YouTube offers a tool. And it does. It offers a tool where you are able to promote videos. And I decided to give that a shot. Now, this is something that, well, I was always weary about, because I've read about how you can use other websites and things like that, and it'll destroy your channel and things. But I was like, well, if this is a YouTube made, system, it's got to be legit, right? So I was like, you know what? I'm going to take a few videos this month of November, and I'm just going to give it a shot. Let's see what it does. Let's see how it handles. And you can actually see, I posted the metrics right here on my Twitter, on X, of the videos I put up there. Now I did hide the how much money I spent on them because I don't think it matters. I can tell you it was below $50 for each one of them. One of them was as low as like $7, and some were as high as like $40. I never went up to $50 total spend on this kind of thing. And you can see there's some varying effects. It works. Now, the one thing I want to show you is this is YouTube ads, creator promotions, build video engagement, and grow your channel. This is a thing that is 100% legit through YouTube. There's an option literally on your studio, your back studio page of YouTube that you can utilize to do this. So I gave it a shot. I was like, let's see what this does. And that's what I did. I was like, let's give it a shot. Let's see what this does. I want to see if it's going to help build my channel, build engagement. Like, what does it do? Because I'm pushing, I'm chugging along, I'm getting engagement, I'm growing my channel, and that's great and all. But I just want to see what this does. Like, what could it possibly do? Could putting some extra money into this actually help in the long run? And I just wanted to see. Like, it wasn't something that I'm sitting here saying, oh, I'm going to go buy subscribers, buy views and things like that, because I understand that there's other websites that you can do that. And it's literally what, as people say, bots or fake subscribers and things like that, because at that point, that does crush your YouTube completely. And I've done my research. I've seen how that happens and what happens with that. But this being an actual tool within YouTube's little sandbox of utilities you can use, I felt, okay, I did my research. I went, checked out the website they have here, went through it. You can see how you can set up the account, how you can select a goal, select the video, target your preference audience, all that kind of stuff, and your budget. And I went through all this and I said, okay, let's give it a shot for a few videos just in November. I just took November and gave it a shot. And that's what I did. Now, this other YouTuber is unhappy because you see in the month of November, you see a few of my videos, specifically those videos, they shot up. Now, some of my other videos did benefit from this. My subscriber count jumped up as well. And yeah, it has something to do with that. I have no doubt. But does that mean that I did something unfair or not right? No, it's a tool that YouTube gave me, and I was testing it out. I wanted to see what it would do. That's not me sitting there buying bots. It's not me buying views, because the way the system actually works is it's an ad. So it will take my video and post it on YouTube like an ad, and people have to click on it to actually watch it. Real life people have to click on it to watch it. And if they like it, they then have to subscribe or hit like or comment. And I've gotten subscribers. I've gotten new followers and likes and comments that I've never seen before from those videos. So it does work. Not like I was hoping. I was hoping to get some more type of engagement from it, but it does work to a certain degree. But that's what it was. Now, do I sit here and say, hey, everybody should do this? I think everybody needs to do it on a case-by-case basis themselves to see if it'll work for them, because maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. Even this YouTuber, hey, give it a shot. Maybe it'll work for you, because it is a legit Google YouTube thing. If you're that jealous, if you're that upset, whatever it is, I don't care. But give it a shot. Why not? I don't care. I'm never going to call you out for that. Do what you want to do. But I have the proof. Like, if you want to call me out for it, I have the proof. I just don't appreciate you calling me out for doing something that I didn't do, buying subscribers and bots and views like that. No. I bought ad space for my videos. Ad space is what it was. It was not buying views. It was not buying subscribers. It was buying ad space, marketing for my channel. And if you disagree with that, I don't know what to tell you, because that's what YouTube offers. And that's what I did. So again, if you disagree with it, so be it. But that is what I did. I wanted to put it out there on Front Street. Look, I don't care what he thinks. I don't care what his viewers or followers think. My concern is just with my audience and with my subscribers and the people that sit here with me. I just want to make sure you guys are understanding. I need to be truthful with all of you, and you all understand. Like, that's all that I care about, is just all of you. Because again, like, it doesn't matter. I mean, it is what it is. But look, I have to be upfront and honest, and that's it. That's where it is. This is where it stands. All right, guys. But if any of you have any questions or, about this, I'm still learning, and I don't know if I'm ever going to do it again. Like I said, this was a November thing that I was giving a shot to. Just wanted to test it out, see what it does. But if you have questions about it, or from my experience, if you're a YouTuber and you want to know about it, I'll give you my take and my experience from it. Give me, throw me a message. I'll talk to you about it. But other than that, that's where I'm going to keep it. I'm not mentioning the channel. If you know who the channel is, so be it. I'm not going to mention the channel. I've already stated weeks ago that I'm not talking about this guy anymore. I'm not. I refuse to. But at this point, it is what it is. So there you have it. All right, but who's here today? Let's see who's here, because this should be a fun show. I wanted to get the bull crap out of the way. So who is here? I saw Donovan in here. Donovan earlier today says, feels like the Super Bowl came early with all the trailers we will be getting, or we will get. Yes. He says, honestly, I'm more excited about Supergirls than Doomsday. Kevco says, way more excited for both Supergirl and Lanterns than anything MCU right now. We'll see on Spider-Man, though. Love Spider-Man. Let's see. Critic Chris is in here. Says, hey, Slav, everyone. What's going on, Critic? We got... who else in here? Anybody else? I know I saw some other names in here. Where are they at? We got Douglas in here. I don't know. Have you seen latest vid from Harsh Critics? Keep saying you're buying something. All right. Patrick's in here. Can someone explain why Sean has such a grudge against Warner Brothers? I honestly, I've had Sean on the show a couple times. I'm not saying necessarily, like, sometimes I feel like there's some people that just want to be right. And like, literally, that's what it is. Like, I feel sometimes people just want to be right. And when they're not, they then hold like a grudge against the studio because they're not being proven right. And maybe that's what's going on with Sean. I don't know. Movie Talk Now. What's going on? Says Team Slav. Critic Chris says Team Slav. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Donovan, hope you see what I DM'd you. Critic Chris says bigger channels are afraid of Slav. It shows. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's what it is. I call them out for the bull crap that they spout all the time. I show their hypocrisy. I show all that kind of stuff. And then they come out and say things like that. I've seen some pretty disgusting things thrown my way today. It's pretty pathetic. It really is pathetic. Lawrence Fury says, hey, what's going on? Jalen, hello. Who else we got? Scott Edwards, are you excited for the Avengers Doomsday trailer? I am excited for it. Look, I'm trying to be more positive for Marvel right now. I was disappointed in Fantastic Four. Loved Thunderbolts. Absolutely loved that movie. But I've been struggling to get excited about Doomsday, but I'm trying to be positive. I'm trying to get excited for it. So I am excited for it. I'm telling myself I'm excited for that trailer. I'm telling myself that. All right, let's move on to story number 1, which is the box office this past week. Let me tell you, we haven't seen a movie do this for quite some time. Zootopia 2 destroyed the box office this past week. Now, granted, it was an extended week, so for them, because their Friday, Saturday, Sunday wasn't just a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I mean, this was a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday kind of event. Plus, it was the holiday week. But this was a huge, huge week for them, taking $560 million in its first 5 days. Obviously taking the number 1 spot. Domestically, $158 million, taking the number 1 spot there as well. But internationally is the interesting number at $401 million right now. And the reason why I think that's interesting is because for one big reason. China loved this movie. China loved this movie. And people are taking this as a sign of, well, see, China doesn't hate American movies, so Superman didn't do well there. So it's just international just hated Superman. No, see, here's the thing. What people don't seem to understand is China is a fickle beast when it comes to Hollywood and films. There are some movies that just do really well in China, and then there are movies that just don't do well, and then movies that you think are going to do well just don't do well. You just never know when it comes to China. Now, take a look at superhero movies for the last number of years. To me, when I'm trying to read the tea leaves here, it seems like they're kind of just over the superhero genre because it's not been doing very hot over there. Now, when it comes to a movie like Zootopia 2, that's like right up their alley. It's that like whole like cutesy animal thing, like Asian, like they love that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's going to do well. That's right up their alley. So yeah, of course that's going to do well. But, when you sit back and you take a look at the grand scheme of things, trying to figure out exactly what's going on, you can't sit there and say, oh, well, Zootopia 2 did well. So why did Superman not do well in China? Well, they're two totally different types of things. You can't sit there and say one is like the other because it's not. So I wouldn't sit here and say Zootopia 2 doing well in China means XYZ, but it also doesn't mean that China is back in the good graces of Hollywood. So I would, kind of like, let's keep an eye on it. I've been saying that for a while. Let's keep an eye on China because there's some interesting things going on, in Hollywood and what's coming up. And let's see how China reacts to those. Like, let's see what happens with Avatar. Let's see what happens with Spider-Man next year and Supergirl and then Avengers. Like, let's see that stuff. Let's see these big movies that are coming out. Not Oppenheimer, the Odyssey. Let's see these movies. What happens with those? Because that'll really tell us, okay, is China back? Like, are they in good graces? Like, are we going to see some big numbers from them? Or is it, they just like what they like and they'll watch whatever the heck they want to watch. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm looking. And I think that's how it's going to be for a while, if not from now on. But along with that, obviously, you take a look at Zootopia, 560 is huge. But number 2, Wicked for Good was number 2, taking 61.7. And this is just weekend total, 61.7 from November 28th to the 30th. Now You See Me, Now You Don't was third with 6.9 million. Predator Badlands, fourth with 4.8, and The Running Man in fifth with 3.7. Wicked for Good is an interesting one that I want to talk about because the first Wicked made like 750 million. It's only at 391, so it's just under 400 million. You now have Avatar coming out in a couple weeks. I don't know if Wicked for Good's going to hit that same number that the first one hit. Like that first one hit like, what was it, like 740, 750, something like that. And everybody was banking on this one doing that or better. Like there were even some people saying, oh, this is going to hit $1 billion. This is going to hit $1 billion. Looking at this now, it's starting to seem like this movie might only hit 650, maybe 7, but 650 is looking maybe the top end of this, maybe. And with Avatar coming out in just a couple weeks, it's not looking good. I mean, that's going to just take away. Now, it is two very different audiences. And when Christmas comes around, they may see a big uptick. And hey, maybe that'll be where it gets its 700 plus. It could. But I tell you what, it's interesting to see because I haven't seen the first one. I haven't seen the second one. But just hearing how people are talking about the second one, how it's just not as good, not as exciting as the first one. I've even heard people say like, I just don't hear the buzz about it. Like, people just aren't talking about it like the first one. People when they went to see the first, and I even remember this, like when people saw the first one, it was just talked about nonstop for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. The only reason why I hear about this now is, do you see the box office? It dropped 57% from one week to the next. Oh man, people aren't really liking it. Like that's what I'm hearing now. As opposed to the first one, it was, man, that was good. Man, that was great. Man, that was great. You need to see it. You need to see it. You need to see it. That's not a great sign. That's not a great sign. But I tell you what, this is a great way, though, for the box office to end. I mean, for the year. Having Zootopia have a huge outing like this, most likely going to hit $1 billion. Most likely. I can't imagine it doesn't. Already around that almost 600 million within its first week. And then you're going to have Avatar coming out in a couple weeks. It's going to be a nice giant box office for the end of the year. Something that we desperately needed. Theaters desperately needed. Studios needed to see that, especially before we get into that little lull that comes at the beginning of every year, January, February, which isn't typically big seasons for films or box office. So, yeah, I think it's going to be really nice to see that. But let me know your thoughts. Did you see Zootopia 2? Were you planning on seeing it? Seeing how many people are going to see it, enticing you to go see it? Did you see Wicked for Good? How about Now You See Me, Now You Don't? Did you see that? I mean, 6.9 is for the third week isn't terrible, and it's made $186 million so far globally, worldwide. That's pretty darn good. 50 million, just under 50 million domestically. Kind of wish it would make a little more. I love these movies, but let me know your thoughts on the box office below. All right, what else do we got over here? Movie Talk Now says, be excited for my boy Toby, Slav. If he shows up. I don't know if he's going to show up in Doomsday, my man. I know everybody's like, oh, he was on the set. Maybe. I don't know. What else do we got? Scott Edwards says, do you think Kamala Khan, Kate Bishop, Captain Marvel, Storm, and Jean Grey will be in Avengers Doomsday? Yes or no for each. Kamala Khan, no. Kate Bishop, no. Captain Marvel, no. Storm, yes. Jean Grey, no. And I don't think we will see. If we see a Jean Grey, it's not going to be Famke Janssen, however you say her last name. I don't think it's going to be her. I just don't. I think we're going to see either a new, younger version of Jean Grey, or we could see Sophie Turner. Was that her name? Sophie Turner. We could see her version show up, but I don't think it would be until Secret Wars. And I think the rest of them will 100% be in Secret Wars, but I don't think they'll be in Doomsday. Again, I think the cast that we got from Chair Watch is the cast of Doomsday. If there's anybody else that pops up in Doomsday, it's going to be a very small part. And I don't think they're going to give us a Kate Bishop or a Kamala Khan in a very small part, or a Tobey Maguire Spider-Man in a small part. I don't think it's going to be something like that. I think, sure, you might get some like one-off like characters that are not well-established characters through the history of Marvel in small parts. But I don't think we're going to get something like, a big name like Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, or a Jean Grey, or a Captain Marvel, or, like those characters that were not in the Chair Watch. I don't think we're going to get them as like side characters for short, small roles. I just don't. Donovan says, I'm waiting on Disney Plus for this, being Zootopia. There is only one movie I can afford right now, and it's more or less Avatar. Critic Chris says, should Secret Wars be split into 2 films or 1 film? Russo brothers wanting it split in 2 to tell a good story, but I think studio doesn't want to do that. See, I don't know what the story is they're trying to tell, because I don't understand what Doomsday is. Once I see Doomsday and have an idea of what they could be doing with Secret Wars, then I can understand. Because my theory for the longest time was that they were going to take both of the Secret War stories, the one from the 80s and then the one from the 20 teens, and they were going to kind of combine them. And they were going to kind of combine it in a way where some of it would be part of Doomsday, and then the bulk of it would be the Secret Wars film. And if they were doing that, I think Doomsday and Secret Wars is enough. However, if Doomsday doesn't have any of those elements in there, then I do think you should split it up, because Secret Wars, regardless, whether it's the 80s version or even the 20 teens version, they're big stories. And I don't think you can get the full impact from a 2-3 hour long film. I think you kind of need to split it up into 2 movies. And I wouldn't mind them doing that. And I really don't think Marvel Studios, especially Kevin Feige, would be against that idea. I mean, why would they be against the idea of a potential, billion-dollar movie coming out again, back to back to back to back, for 3 years in a row or something like that? So I think it's probably a smart move to do it that way. But I don't know. Let's see. Anything else? Nothing else. Critic Chris says, I love the 80s version more. Oof. Man, that's a tough read. It's a tough read because it is so 80s. It is so old style comic. And if you don't like those type of comics, it is so rough to read. And I don't like those old style comics, whether it's DC or Marvel. Some of those comics are just so rough to get through. And I reread that Secret War, what was it, like 5-6 months ago or something like that. And it was just one of those, like, I got through it, but man, I was like, some of it just happens. Like, things just happen in those comics, and it just doesn't make it is what it is. Okay, moving on. Millie Alcock did an interview with Forbes. I believe it was like the Australian Forbes or something, but regardless, she had an interview with Forbes, and she was kind of talking about how she got the role of Supergirl and her feelings on it. Now, I guess this was they were doing their 30 under 30, and she's one of the 30 under 30. And, she was talking about how she was kind of an unknown actress and all of a sudden became this big name in the House of Dragon, which, if you haven't watched House of Dragon, watch her. She's in the first half of the first season. Phenomenal. But then she talks about being cast as Supergirl. And this is kind of what they say. First off, where is it at? I just lost it. I was looking at it earlier, of course. Let me see here. Okay. I should have just pulled it up, but I wanted to. There it is. I wanted to be all dramatic and show the photo of her and everything. I should have just pulled it up. That's what I do. She goes, when she received a text to confirm she landed Supergirl, Alcock's first reaction was a mix of jubilation and fear. Quote, I thought, what have I done? I really struggled to believe I could do it. I even called the director saying, I don't know how to be that person. I'm just me. The panic didn't last. Quote, eventually I realized the only way through was to trust myself, she says. I always believe life is right on time. Things happen when they're supposed to, whether you're ready or not. I love this because it shows the wholesomeness that she has. It shows the care and excitement that she also had for it, but also just how reserved she is a bit. And it's similar to how David Cornsweet reacted to being cast as Superman, which he is phenomenal, was perfect for that role. And it's looking like she had a similar reaction and a similar take on being cast as Supergirl. So to me, I think, hey, this is great to see. This is great to see that somebody is recognizing the impact and the importance of this role. And she's like, am I right for this? I don't know if I can do this. But as she sat back and she really considers and thinks about it, she's like, you know what? They cast me for a reason. I'm cast. I was picked out of probably thousands for a reason. And I'm going to let it be. I'm going to do what I do because I am me. And things happen the way they happen because they're meant to be. And I love that. I absolutely love that. And like I said, I feel like we're starting to get stuff like this. Like, I know this Forbes article is the 30 under 30. It's typically comes out this time of year, but it's like perfect timing as well, because we have this about her. We have her talking about Supergirl. She's finally able to talk about Supergirl just a little bit right before CCXP. And we're going to have some things at CCXP as well. But I feel like this is kind of like the perfect segue, the perfect intro point for being introduced to Millie Alcock as Supergirl. Sure, we saw her in Superman just a few months back, but that was a tease. That was just a little tease. That was, hey, who's the blonde girl in the Supergirl costume? Like, who is that? Oh, that's his cousin. Okay, so it must be Supergirl. But who is she? Who is she? And now we get this nice little bit here from her. She just says a little bit here, which I think is perfect. And then come the teaser that we're going to hopefully get here within the next, maybe 4 or 5 days, maybe. We get this nice teaser, and then we start to really see who she is as Supergirl. And then, over the next few months, we're going to start learning more about Millie Alcock, who she is, how she truly embodies the woman of tomorrow, and everything like that. So to me, I think this is a perfect little introduction and just little taste of who she is and how she fits into being Supergirl. Like I said, this is kind of like the start, like just a little start for the Supergirlness of how we're moving forward. And I love it. I think it's great. For Forbes doing this is great, but seeing how everything's moving right before CCXP, I think is great. So let me know your thoughts about this in the comments below. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are on Millie Alcock's, discussion on how she feels about being cast as Supergirl. Let's see. What are you guys saying over here? You say, Donovan says she's going to kill it next year. I believe she will also. I also believe she will. Patrick says, Doomsday and the next Spider-Man movie are not guaranteed to make $1 billion. Well, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. But if you were to ask me, out of the movies next year in 2026, if you were to say pick 2 movies that you think have the most potential to make $1 billion, those 2 movies would be at the top of my list. Just saying. I'm just saying. Like, they're not guaranteed, but they would be at the top of my list. Let's see. Donovan says Millie is humble. Douglas says, I think Millie will make a good Supergirl, as do I. Jalen says, I hope Millie gets all the success in life. Let's see. Patrick says, has the Supergirl teaser rumor actually come from reputable sources? Well, there's no, with that kind of stuff, even reputable sources aren't going to really talk about it because they don't know. Nobody really knows. It's just all speculation. So it's scoopers, it's con men, it's, even YouTubers and, reputable YouTubers, your John Campios, Christian Harloffs, and things like that, who are also saying, hey, it looks like it's a possibility. It's not a guarantee. It's just a possibility. A lot of people are doing exactly what we've been, all of us have been doing here, is saying, look, Superman premiered its teaser. What was it? December 19th of last year? I think it was December 19th. So that's sounding like, hey, it's close to December 19th. CCXP, they're going to have a nice interactive, little thing set up for Supergirl at CCXP. Maybe they do it there. Plus, they're going to be doing a Doomsday teaser in December. Do they want to get it out before that? They want to get it out in time so they can attach it to Avatar? Do they want to attach it to Five Nights at Freddy's? Like, where do they want to attach this to? There's a lot of different scenarios. Five Nights at Freddy's comes out, next week? So maybe they want to throw it out this weekend so it's attached to that next week. Who knows? Like, I don't know. But there are a lot of variables there. And that's just what, you do when you start to theorize and try and figure out, when is this teaser coming out? Like, it sounds right, because it seems like they will most likely follow a very similar trajectory that they did with Superman last year with marketing. Hosea says she was so good in House of the Dragon. Indeed, she was. Hosea says so good, in fact, that when the time jump happened, people were pissed off. I was like, who is that? Why did they do that? What? What? I was mad. Donovan says DC Film News has been posting cryptic things. Yeah, but it could just be hopeful. Let's see. Anybody else? Douglas Fryer says, I didn't like first Five Nights at Freddy's. I thought it was a bad movie. It wasn't great, but I see the excitement behind it. I do. I see the excitement behind it. Let's see. Okay, next thing I want to talk about, speaking of trailers, I might as well just talk about it now, right? So there are some possibilities, guys, for some big trailers dropping in the next few days. Not a few days, but a couple weeks, I should say. Mainly Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, Avengers Doomsday, and Masters of the Universe. We could also get an Odyssey trailer. What else is there? We could get a Spider-Man trailer. I mean, there's a lot of different things we could possibly get. Let's discuss this, though. So Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, that teaser, the speculation is that it comes out this Saturday. This Saturday is part of CCXP. It's said that it's going to be part of the Warner Brothers presentation. That's the rumor, okay? That's the rumor. Now, it may not happen. It may not happen this weekend. But I do believe it's going to happen. Personally, I do believe it's going to happen before Christmas, okay? So within the next, 3 to 4 weeks, yeah, I think it's going to happen. Avengers Doomsday has all been but confirmed that it's going to come out sometime around Avatar, the third Avatar movie that nobody cares, but nobody's going to go see that. But no, honestly, it's all but been confirmed that the Avengers Doomsday teaser will be out at around that time, maybe before, maybe right after online, maybe the same day online, something like that, but it will be attached to Avatar. Masters of the Universe, the new Masters of the Universe movie, is rumored that it could come out possibly this week, possibly next week. I'm hearing that they may want to attach that to Five Nights at Freddy's, specifically that one. So they want to probably get that out before next week. Again, I'm looking forward to it. I've never been a big Masters of the Universe fan. It is what it is. That's more my brother's who's older than me. That was more his jam. And then obviously you had the Dolph Lundgren and Courtney Cox film from the 80s that was not very great. But this movie, I mean, I'm interested to see. I mean, you got Marina Baccarin, you got Jared Leto, you got there's a couple other names I can't think of, right? But it's got a pretty solid cast. What's her face? Aubrey Plaza, isn't it? I think as well. I mean, it's got a solid cast. Like I sit there, I'm like, okay, like this could be pretty good. So I'm interested to see it. Then you have Odyssey. The Odyssey Christopher Nolan's next movie that we could possibly see. Because look, if you're going to want to put out some kind of teaser or something, why not throw it out at the Christmas time and attach it to Avatar? That's going to be a very similar audience that's going to go see that. Not everybody, but a lot of the audience going to see Avatar is going to want to go see the Odyssey. So attach it to that movie and you'll get a nice little teaser for that possibly. Then you have Spider-Man, Brand New Day. And, well, I mean, that movie, that comes out at the end of July next year. It might be a little too early, but we've seen them do some crazier things. And it could be just a little tease. It could be just, Peter swinging around, Spider-Man swinging around New York or something, and just Spider-Man coming July or summer 2026, something like that. They could do something just to start building the hype. Who knows? But, I mean, that is a good bit of trailers we could be seeing over the next couple weeks. And that's exciting. It is really exciting. Personally, the ones that I really care about are Supergirl and Avengers. Those are the two I care about the most. Because let's face it, I mean, I'm going to go see a Christopher Nolan movie. I don't even need to see a trailer or a teaser or anything. I'm going to go see it regardless, just because I'm a Nolan fan. Masters of the Universe, I'm curious, but I'm not itching to see what this movie looks like or is. I'm just curious. When it comes to Avengers, though, and Supergirl, I want to see what these movies are. I want to see what they look like. Supergirl, I'm just so excited about DC. And then Avengers, look, when it comes to Avengers, like I said earlier, I'm not overly excited for this movie. I'm trying to get myself amped up for it. I'm trying to convince myself to be excited for it. But here's the thing. When it comes to Avengers Doomsday, I'm hoping when I start seeing things for it, I'm hoping that's what's going to get me pumped and amped up and excited. So that's why I want to start seeing things for it. That's why I want to start seeing the marketing start. So when it comes down to it, I mean, this is an exciting time. And hell, who knows? We could all be disappointed and get one trailer, one teaser over the next 3 weeks. And then we'll just be like, oh, well, that sucked. And then everything comes out at around Super Bowl time. But I really think that we're going to get some fun over the next few weeks. I think a lot of these studios, they're ready to push these things, these teasers and these trailers out to get everybody amped up for next year, because they really are banking on next year having some big box office hits. So I think they want to start early, start now. And yeah, I think we're going to get some pretty cool teasers over the next couple weeks. But let me know your thoughts below. What are you looking forward to the most in seeing? What's the teaser that you think is going to steal the show also? That's what I want to know. Which one do you think will steal the show this holiday season? Let me know your thoughts below. Movie talk. Nice Christmas tree, Slav. You need some more decoration. Look, we've been busy. We got the tree up. Now we just need to get the kids to decorate it. Call me what you want. I hate decorating. I absolutely hate decorating for holidays. Christmas trees, lights, decorations around the house. To me, it is the most dumb thing to do, because you decorate for 30 days and then you take it all down. So I leave the decorating to everyone else. But the tree is up and the kids just have to decorate it. So we got the tree up, and then tomorrow the kids are going to throw all the ornaments up on it. And then, so it'll be by Watchtower at the end of the week. There will be ornaments and such on it. So, but thanks, Movie Talk. Thanks. Douglas says, I hope we hear more news on the new Barbarella movie soon. I actually didn't even remember that was, did I even know that was actually coming? Maybe I did. I don't even remember. Soul Survivor says, just got here, Slav. Thank you for joining. Thank you. At least you made it. Better late than never. Donovan says, it just was put out here today that the Steven Spielberg UFO trailer will be in front of Avatar. Well, That's another one that I'm curious in seeing. Look, Steven Spielberg, he's another one of those that I'll watch pretty much anything he puts out. So pretty much. Hosea says 2026 is going to be awesome. Fingers crossed. Indeed. Patrick, I hope Supergirl is drastically different from Superman. I'm tired of haters assuming Supergirl is going to have the same tone as Superman. Oh, it's definitely, I mean, Anna Naguaria and then Craig Gillespie, Naguaria wrote it, Craig Gillespie directed it. Neither one of them have the same type of, Anna doesn't write like James Gunn. Craig does not direct like James Gunn. So just in that regard, it's not going to feel like a James Gunn movie. But then you sit down and you take a look and you're, okay, it's got to fit into the DCU. But then you sit there and say, well, it's also taking inspiration from that comic series, that comic run. And that comic run it's not very James Gunn-esque type of run. It is very dark. It is very, powerful of a type of story. And it's where James Gunn, he does write powerful, storylines and what's the word I'm looking for here? Messages in his films. I think this is even deeper and more powerful than even what James Gunn does. So if they can keep that core of the story and then have, Anna's writing and Craig's directing and Millie's acting, sure, there's going to be comedic parts. I mean, don't get me wrong. They're going to have some levity in the movie, but there was some levity in the comic as well. So I think it'll be okay. It's going to be different enough. It will be different enough. Johnny Dome says Supergirl will be hype merely for the fact she never had her own movie since the flop. I mean, I think it'll be pretty good. I think it will be pretty good. Speaking of that, according to Forbes, which we just read, and we'll go back to it, there is, Forbes initially said, and I know somebody said it was debunked, but we'll get to it. They say her name, Millie Alcock, sits beside Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow logo, a $200 million DC feature directed by Craig Gillespie. They're saying that the movie is going to cost $200 million. Well, let's ask James Gunn that. So this person, come on, asked James Gunn, Forbes saying Supergirl has a $200 million budget. Is this true, James Gunn? And he says, not even a little bit true. Thank you, James Gunn, for replying to that. Yeah. Here's the thing. I never expected Supergirl to have that sort of budget. Look, Superman had a $200+ million budget because of it being Superman, because of it being the first movie in the DCU, because it had to establish everything. Supergirl, my guess, and this has been my guess, I'm guessing it's probably no higher than 150, probably around there. So if that is probably what it is. That's what I'm going to say. Probably about 150, which makes sense. So it's not much lower than that 200 million, but still, 150 I think is okay. It could be lower, maybe 125, maybe that'd be hopeful. I would like that. But let's not forget, this is like a universe spanning type of galaxy jumping type of film. This is something that's out in the universe. This is going to be sprawling. This is going to be big in that regard. So, they are going to have to spend some money on special effects, on set design and things like that. I understand that. But then again, Millie Alcock, she is a young actress, not demanding of a big paycheck in that regard. Probably I wouldn't be surprised if Jason Momoa is probably making more than her here because it's Jason Momoa. But in that regard, you take a look at this and the budget is not $200 million. Maybe when all is said and done with marketing, maybe, but it's not going to be that much. And it's nice to see that James Gunn debunks this. People are going to try and spin this now. You're going to hear the people that want to see DC fail or things like that. They're going to take this number and try and push it for the next year. I mean, that's what they're going to push. Once Supergirl comes out, hey, remember when Forbes said it cost $200 million? Well, blah, blah, blah. Like that's what's just going to happen now. And it's unfortunate, but come on, think logically. Peter Safran, James Gunn, they're not idiots. They're not going to have a Supergirl movie cost $200 million. 150 max is what I would say. Again, it could be less than that, but I'd say 150 max. But yeah, let me know your thoughts about all that in the comments below. Let's see. Lawrence Fury said Nicholas Hoult made more than David Cornsweet in the Superman movie. He did indeed, but Nicholas Holt's been a bigger name for quite some time, just like, how Momoa is bigger than Millie Alcock. So, Donovan said, see the responses of Rocha and Sean I sent you. It's bad. No, I did not see them, but it doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me that Rocha is talking like that. And Sean, again, I mean, we know how Sean can be, so it's not surprising. Patrick says, but James Gunn is going to enforce that every DCU project is made with his style of filmmaking. That's sarcasm, by the way. But more silly assumptions from the haters, most if not all. Very true. Very true. Let's see. What else do we got here? Anything else? All right. Real quick before we move on to the main topic, we got slow. So our friend Ben at Real Anarchy, because we gotta give him his props here. Well, first off, I saw this because David, Movie Talk Now, gotta give props to him too, shared this, and I was like, whoa, this is pretty cool. So Real Anarchy on Threads reached out to James Gunn, said, hello, James. I'm sure the most requested thing for Batman are the white eyes. But has anyone ever asked for the cowl to be animated like Deadpool's? Something where he could frown when dealing with villains, but have a more welcoming look when he's talking to peers or civilians? And believe it or not, James Gunn responded to him, which I think is great. Now, my question is, and I really want to know this, James, I know you probably don't watch my channel, but by some chance, if you do, have you been watching Ben? Because I know you've mentioned, you were watching like Boba Talks and stuff like that. You have those channels you watch. My guess is you've been watching Real Anarchy. You've been watching Ben, and he asked a question. And you're like, you know what? This is a good question. I'm going to answer it. Because you like him. You think he's a cool guy. I bet you that's what it is. Anyways, he says, the most requested thing would be the blue and gray, meaning the blue and gray suit. Then the yellow around the bat, and then the white eyes. But all those things I find less important than the character himself, the writing, and the person who plays him. So I like the blue and gray because I do want to see the blue and gray in live action. The yellow around the bat, come on, people. We've seen it. We don't need to see it anymore. We don't need to see the yellow around the bat anymore. Like, I'm over that look. That's just an old look. Like, I like the bat outside the oval, personally. Like, get him out of the oval. Like, I like it across the chest. Like, that's just me. The white eyes, I've never liked the idea of the white eyes. Like, I even don't like it on Deadpool. Like, I think, like, don't get me wrong, I like Deadpool. I like his design. I like how they make his face animated. It's all good. It works for Deadpool. But, like, in the last movie with Wolverine and how they put the white eyes on Wolverine, thought it looked terrible. Looked terrible, in my opinion. But that's just me. But that's not what I'm here to talk about. What I'm here to talk about is James Gunn's real response and how he says what the important aspects are. And he talks about the character himself. How important is the character of Batman to James Gunn? That is the most important part for James Gunn, as it should be. the writing, which goes hand in hand with the character because the character is what is written on the page. But then what also goes hand in hand with that is the person playing Batman. Because if the person that's playing Batman doesn't understand the words on the page, and you're not going to get the characterization that you want. So the way he talks about it is exactly how anybody should be going forward with creating this universe. Who cares what the suit looks like right now? Let's worry about getting the perfect casting, the right tone, the right character for the screen. Let's make sure we get the person who best embodies Batman, Bruce Wayne, for the screen. And then everything else will come after that. Like, okay, fans, like, eventually, like, if you guys keep supporting the DCU, if you guys support the DCU and show up to these movies, and you enjoy the movies and you support them and you keep showing up, look, we see superhero costumes change all the time. There's a very good chance that you'll get to see the suit that you want to see at some point. So I agree with James Gunn. Look, you guys can ask for all these things, but the most important part, the character, the writing, the person, because those three things have to come together nicely to get the best version on screen. And we definitely need that with Batman right now, because we don't got it with Batman in the Pattinson universe, Reeves universe. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Don't come at me. Don't come at me. Don't come at me. Don't come at me. But no, well done. Well done, Ben. I love the question. I'm proud of you, man, getting the answer from James Gunn. It was actually a really good question because it is curious, like, to hear what kind of requests he does get from that kind of stuff. So it's cool. It is cool that you got a response from him. So congratulations, Ben. Love it. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below, guys, what you think about James Gunn's response. Donovan says, I loved Gunn's response to this, as did I. Patrick, I've never seen so many idiots want to paint James Gunn as this evil dictator that has this my way or the highway attitude. It really makes no sense. It really doesn't. Johnny Dome says, hot take, George Reeves over Christopher Reeve. That is a hot take. That is a hot take. Not going to sit here and say you're wrong. I just think it's a hot take. Critic Chris, I like blue and gray costume with yellow oval, but no trunks. That's just me. Yeah. Okay. Let's go. So, July 2027. Saw an article. You can probably figure out where it's from. Article from a site. We'll call it a site. That was like, hey, the summer of Superman is canceled. 2027 is a disgrace, and Warner Brothers has no faith in Superman. Brah. Okay. I'll bite, I said. What the hell are you talking about? I'll bite. So it kind of stems from this whole thing that Superman comes out, what, July 9th? Is it? July 9th of 2027. And then 2 weeks later, Minecraft 2 comes out. Ooh. Minecraft 2 comes out just 2 weeks later. All right. Here's the thing, though. Let's think about this logically from, a standpoint that, hey, we're not just, crazy, obsessed cult fans or anything like that. Let's think of this like a movie fan. Let's think of this as somebody who has common sense. Now, if you want to read my article, you can head over to Slav's Free Talk. This kind of goes into it a lot better, a lot more in depth. But I'm going to kind of hit the highlights of the article here, of my article, that is. So, James Gunn and the DCU and DC Studios are trying to do something very similar that Marvel did many, many, many years ago. Marvel Studios planted their flag in May, quite some time ago. Now, does that mean that they only put out movies in May? No. But for some of their bigger films, their kind of big push event films, for many years, May was their day, or their date, I should say, not their day, because May's a month. But that was their day, their dates. Like that's when they would put out movies. It would either be like end of April, early May, something like that. It was like the first week of May, last week of April, like right around there. Like that is what they did. They took that spot. That was theirs. They were like, we will be the start of the spring/summer movie going season. They did that for some time. They did it for quite a while. So what DC Studios is doing is they're trying to do that themselves. This past year, they put Superman out in the middle of July, early July. This coming year, they have Supergirl coming out the end of June. And I honestly think that they probably would have put it out in July had there not been two massive films coming out in July already, with that being Spider-Man and The Odyssey. I have a feeling that they probably would have tried to put that out in July. Maybe not. I don't know. I could be wrong, but it's still late in June that they're putting out Supergirl. But now, Man of Tomorrow is coming out July 9th of 2027. So, to me, it feels like that little time frame, that little area, is what DC Studios is trying to do. Like that late June, early July time frame is kind of like they're putting their flag right there. Like, this is our time. This is what we want to do and make it our time. However, do you guys remember what happened in 2025? Because, they put a movie out there. They scheduled Superman for July, 10th or whatever. And all of a sudden, Marvel was like, we're going to put Fantastic Four out a couple weeks later. I was like, whoa. Lois, this isn't my Batman cup. No, what happened was they were a little caught off guard. They weren't prepared for that. So Warner Brothers did something smart. Warner Brothers, not because they're not confident in Superman, but because they want to make sure, hey, we're solidifying July for DC and Warner Brothers. So they threw Minecraft a couple weeks later. Now, here's the thing. If a studio has a lack of confidence in a movie, all right? If a studio has the lack of confidence in a film, what they're going to do is they're going to give it as much breathing room as possible. That means they're not going to put it in a spot. They're not going to release it during a time where it's going to get eaten alive from other movies before it or after it. They're not going to put their own movies out right around it where it's going to get eaten alive from its own studio's movies. What this is actually showing is confidence in Superman or in Man of Tomorrow, as well as confidence in Minecraft 2. Because they believe that Man of Tomorrow is going to make loads of money, as well as Minecraft 2. Now, let's not kid ourselves. Is there a possibility that they did that just to screw with other studios for the time being, and then eventually Minecraft 2 will move back or forward or back or whatever? Absolutely. That could happen. Not saying it doesn't happen. But this is a war. This is something that studios do all the time. They will put movies and put them in release dates just to screw with other studios, so other studios do not take those dates. So what could happen is Warner Brothers puts Minecraft there, and they're going to say, we're going to put Minecraft right there, but that's only temporary until we find another movie to put there that isn't Minecraft. And then we're going to move Minecraft to another day once we figure out what movie we're going to put there, just to scare away Marvel from putting a movie there, or Universal, or, you know, this company or that company from putting a movie there. It's all a chess game. And it's what they do. So there's no lack of confidence in Man of Tomorrow. There's no lack of confidence in Minecraft. It's not trying to protect Superman in the essence of, oh, we're protecting it from Marvel. No, it's protecting the time frame to say, look, this is DC's time. This isn't Marvel's time. This isn't Universal's time for Jurassic World. No, this is DC's time. Get the hell out of here. You screwed with us in 2025. We're not going to let you screw with us anymore. So this is DC's time. So, what do you guys think? Because there's a lot of information out there. You know, Summer of Superman's canceled. Well, first off, are they even going to utilize the same marketing tactic as in 2025? Probably not. Let's be real here. Summer of Superman fit because the movie was called Superman. It was the Summer of Superman. So it fit for the movie. The movie title is Man of Tomorrow. It's not going to be the Summer of Man of Tomorrow. That sounds stupid. So the marketing is going to be something different anyway. But make no mistake, this outlet will probably think that they are right, or try to make you believe that they are right and say, look, 2 years ago we said it was canceled and we are right because they are not saying Summer of Superman. Well, no, it's just not smart marketing to do it twice when the movie isn't even called Superman. Again, I'm hoping everyone, not my viewers, because I know all of you are smart. It's all the viewers that I know are rage, watching me and thinking that I'm going to slip up, or, watching me because they think I'm a hater or they're haters and they want to watch me. It's all of those people that I'm pointing out and making sure that they can maybe get even just a little bit smarter. Because in the grand scheme of things, Warner Brothers has all the confidence in the world with DC Studios. With James Gunn, with Man of Tomorrow, with Supergirl, with Clayface, with anything else that's coming out. We've been talking about it constantly. And for good reason. Because it's awesome. It's going to be fun. It's going to be great. We're going to get casting soon for this movie. Start shooting in April. Got the Jimmy Olsen show that's going to be shooting soon. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be fun. But come on, guys. Come on. Let's be real here. They wouldn't put out a movie that they're not confident in. They wouldn't put a movie in the middle of July that they have no confidence in. Like, this website is just so annoying anymore. It gets to a point like, did I not have the website up? I didn't have the website up the entire time. That's crazy. Well, here's my website. So you can take a look at it here. But yeah, I mean, you guys can check out my website. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts though, because I'd love to hear what you have to say about all this. I think people just misread. I won't say people. There's certain people who want to misread and try to push their narratives to make things look worse and than it actually is. And it's not a bad thing. It's not. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below. All right. Let's go back over here and let's get the last few comments of the night. Donovan said, OMG, go off. I didn't go off like I wanted to, or like you thought I was going to. But that's okay. Patrick says, such a petty move by Disney. I don't know if it was a petty move. I think they just wanted to have a summer movie. Like, let's not forget that, everything comes down to quarters when it comes to, business. So, like, how did this quarter do? How did this quarter do? How did this quarter do? In July is typically the first month in the third quarter, depending on how they run their quarters. But July is the first quarter, or the first month in the third quarter. So if they can get a big hit in that first month, then that really helps that third quarter out. So that's kind of how I look at it most of the time. When they put movies out in July, it's because they want to just get out the gate of the third quarter huge, just like, in April and May, like the beginning of May, they want to get something out early in that quarter so they don't have to worry about it in June, that kind of stuff, Jalen says, I wish 2026 movie lineup wasn't so close to one another. Minions and Toy Story 5 or Spider-Man and Odyssey. I tell you what, the one thing that's cool about Spider-Man and Odyssey being that both are coming out in July, and this is a little known fact, a little known trivia fact, I guess. If both of those movies end up making $1 billion, Tom Holland would be the first actor to star in 2 movies that came out in the same month that made $1 billion. That's an interesting fact. So if they both make $1 billion, which I think Spider-Man will, Odyssey, I don't know if it's going to. It's like, I know it's a Nolan film, but the fact that it's the Odyssey, I just don't know if it will, but it's a possibility. Jalen says, spread it out more, give some more breathing room. Again, like I just was saying, it comes down to the time period, the time frames when you put it out throughout the year. And they want to get it out certain times of the year to hit the numbers at a certain point through the year. Donovan said, Cosmic Book fake news is a coward. Donovan, the Superman information wars. Critic Chris says, the Batman 2 is canceled again. My sources, I made it the freak up. No, it was Cosmic Book news. Johnny Doe, Mr. Miracle might be better than that Vision show. Mr. Miracle, though, is an animated show, but yeah, maybe. Johnny Dome, imagine if Fantastic Four was not close to Superman release date. It might actually make $1 billion or at least close. No, I still don't think Superman would have made $1 billion. I just don't think the crowd, the audience was ready to accept DC back fully yet. I think they're still a little hesitant on it. The crowd is slowly warming up to DC right now. They're still slowly warming up to it, but they'll get there. I think Supergirl, I hope, helps, but I think it will. But I think if they can get a good team-up movie of some sort, whether it's like a Batman, Superman, or Wonder Woman, Superman, something like that out, a good team-up movie, I think that's what will really draw people in. Johnny Dome says, I compared because it might be like a sitcom style. Is Vision Quest supposed to be like a sitcom? I don't know. Hunter Iggy, Slash Free Talk. Did you see what Sean O'Rourke posted? I have not. I know he just posts on YouTube, so I don't really peruse his stuff very often. I can look real quick. Did something spicy? I don't know. I can look. I'm typically I don't really say anything bad about him ever. I always want him on my show, but he never responds to me. I posted 3 hours ago the thing with General Zod. Let's see. He says the budget for Supergirl is $200 million. The break-even point will be $500 million. If Superman with a budget of $225 only pulls in a little over $615, do we really think Supergirl will come close? The DCU in 2026 will be another series of flops. Again, I don't think it's that much money. Yeah. Wanda, Johnny Dim says we'll talk about WandaVision. Yeah, okay. Well, maybe. Johnny Dim is talking about WandaVision. Okay. All right, guys, I'm heading out of here. This was a longer longer show than I thought it was going to be. It's already been an hour and 15 minutes. Man, that's crazy. Yeah, I'm gonna head out of here. Do plan on doing a Watchtower this Friday, so make sure you check us out on Friday. I think a lot of people liked it earlier, so I'm going to try and do it earlier on Friday again. So definitely check us out. Hopefully I'm able to do it earlier. So we will see. But with all that said, guys, I will catch you all later. Have a good night. Make sure you hit that like button, hit subscribe, and thank you all for following and doing all that cool stuff. I will catch you all later.